So after recruiting you into the sales director role at VEKA, Neil, and you very quickly gaining promotion up into the managing director role, what in your own head made you want to continue the relationship with Collingwood moving forward with other leadership positions with us?
I guess the first part for me was as a candidate. I'd obviously gone through the process, so I had a feeling of kind of your focus, the detail that you put into it, how you then look to handle things, back into the business from that point of view. So that was a good experience that I had personally. Of course, within the business, we also had a further history, a positive history of other appointments that Collingwood had been involved in. And then I guess the immediate thought was it isn't broken, no need to fix it. But then I also pursued further recruitment where I guess I was now in control of that, working with you guys, but now from a recruiting perspective, and found your levels of interest in the business, your kind of diligent approach to refreshing the view of the business as material, and also your flexibility, because I guess we are not always perfect in the brief that we provide, and sometimes that does mean that we have to review that and perhaps start again with some parts of it. And I always found your business to be very open to that, even though that might be frustrating for you at times. But that determination to get the outcome that we need as a business.
Yeah. And I don't know if you can add to that at all in terms of where you've used other recruiters or headhunters in the past. What differentiates us from competitors?
I think the general thing, I mean, in terms of headhunters, I've only ever been on the end of somebody trying to headhunt me potentially, and I know we've got a little bit of a history of your way of getting to me. I thought was a little bit different. I thought you're quite creative, which probably without that happening we wouldn't be where we are today. I think in terms of recruiters generally, I think recruiters have got a role to play, often in generic roles that you're looking for, where you kind of recognise that the job you need to do as VEKA is probably a standalone job of helping you stand out for that candidate. Whereas what I find working with yourselves at the level of role that you're recruiting, and as I say, your kind of engagement and interest with the business, I think you do a big selling job for VEKA before we even get the chance to meet them, and I think that's a differentiator for me.
Brilliant, thank you. And was there one point throughout the assignments that we've partnered you with, was there only one point that really stands out for you throughout a particular process or a particular outcome?
Yeah, and I guess the one that would stand out for me, as much as anything, is linked to the subject matter that I was more familiar with. So with my background being a commercial background, and having picked up the managing director role, what I inherited at that point was a sales director and marketing director setup, which I know you're aware of. And then changes happened whereby I looked to appoint a commercial director, the first one that the business had. I suppose on one hand, I probably had a clearer view of what I was looking for because I had a bit of experience in that area, not recruiting, but in working in that sort of area. And on the other hand, I had to be kind of open enough to listen to what you guys had to say about the reality of that market, the quality of candidates that were out there. I think the standout for me was, if I look at that process we went through, which I remember was an awful lot of potentially targeted people, down to a very high quality shortlist. And I also do remember, interestingly, within that process, we had some different views in terms of the relative strengths of those. But again, that dialogue I thought was always kind of positive, and I think where we ended up in terms of the appointment of Tim from a completely unrelated industry, and then the success and the kind of strength he's brought to the team is a real sort of standout for me.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.